Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Bobbi Decker, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host, Bobbi Decker.
Hello and welcome to RE Radio Live, our podcast. This is the new podcast-only format for Real Estate Radio Live. Now our radio show is web radio. So Buddy is here with me, Buddy Sope. It's Bobbi Decker, and Joe actually had to go to another meeting. So we have the same great informative educational content of all of our listeners have wanted us and are accustomed to us giving, and it has a benefit of minimal commercial interruptions. Now that's terrific, because that's what a lot of you said. So many commercials, we love your, don't they? We love all of the stuff you talk about, but really?
Educational and informative.
It is, if they can wade through those commercials. Now you don't have to. So download these podcasts. You can do it on iTunes, on Stitcher, or you can simply go to reradiolive.com. So download them and use them, because that's why we're here, to inform and to educate. Make sure to get our app on your phone, and the app is RE Radio Live, and it's in the iTunes store. Okay, so after the show is over, go down and download that. And also, please rate our show. We love to get the rave reviews that many of you send in, but if there's something you don't like, we want your feedback, right?
Yes, and we also like suggestions for other shows.
We do. We absolutely love that. So if you have any questions about financing, remember, go to Joe, reradiolive.com, and you can text questions to him at 408-838-9060. That's 838-9060. And the blog is www.reradiolive.com. Now that's for Joe. For me, you can go to Bobbi, B-O-B-B-I, at bobbidecker.com, or text me at 650-346-5352. Or the website, always the website. Yes, Joe?
Well, you're actually talking about the website, so I'm going to talk about the website,
okay, because
today's program, Why Aging and Social Change Should Matter to Us All, is actually an excerpt from the February 1st, 2017 blog post that you did, Bobbi, that's on your website, www.bobbidecker.com. And so this is kind of one of those important subjects that not only is about living longer, living better, our series there, but it also crosses almost every facet of life when you really start to think about it. So we're eager to really get you to come and look at Bobbi's blog, because the Senior Spotlight every Thursday is there for your taking, and there's lots of detail. As we've mentioned, more than we can usually fit into one of our programs.
Well, very exciting news, Buddy. The one that we did on falling,
yes,
was the #1 downloaded podcast. It was for our nose, and I think, you know what? The last time I looked, I was only 45. How quickly those years went by. But I think everyone's like that, don't you, Bud? We all think young, but then we take a fall, or a parent takes a fall, and suddenly, boom, we're old.
Well, and
older anyway.
And that's really the whole topic of this conversation today, why aging and social change should matter to us all. We don't think about it.
No.
It's something that comes along no matter what you do. You cannot stop it, okay? It's one of those progressive things that just comes along, and you have to be prepared, and you have to start to think about it as individuals, and then we have to start to think about it as a global issue. That's really the start of this. When we did that blog, I took a look at the issue, and what it boiled down to in one of the surveys was that by 2050, 1 in 5 people around the planet will be 60 years old or older. So 1/5 of the world's population. So what does that mean, Bobbi? What does that mean?
Well, it means many, many things, and it depends what country you're in. In China, it meant that they took away that one child maximum one child, because they have no one to take care of their aging population. And, you know, they have millions and millions of people who are boomers.
Yes, yes.
So first, I want to look at the health issue here in the States. I'm going to bring us back here. But it's a worldwide phenomenon. Even Europe's very nervous because the young people are not working. They do kind of have a lot of young people there, but they've chosen not to work. I don't know what they're doing, if they're just living on a socialistic level or what's going on there. But everyone's concerned. So you need to take a look at your health issues and what does that mean here in the States. For many, 60 is the new 40 because people are remaining productive. They're leading interesting and active lives. But as we age, there's often those detrimental health issues that arise. And I have to tell you, in the Wall Street Journal, in the 3rd section, just this past week, I know you saw it, they said the one thing that retirees are not prepared for is the cost of retiring because medical.
Well, medical, and we're living much longer than was the norm back just a few decades ago.
Yes, and remaining in good health, you know, it's amazing. You have said this to me over and over again. Businesses are missing the ability to use someone who knows what they're doing, wants to retire, maybe could go part-time, and they could keep that knowledge base. Because you say, even when they talk about some of the data that I read in the Wall Street Journal, businesses say many sectors are taking twice as long to get these young employees up to snuff because they don't have the basic life skills, and you know what? They don't have the manufacturing skills.
Yes, and if manufacturing is going to return to our country, where are we going to get those skills? Probably from the senior segment of the market that still has those skills.
Exactly. That think that they want to retire, but if they could stay in a capacity that's called semi-retirement, then they feel like they count, so to speak, that they have a responsibility here. And then we've got their knowledge to give to the young people.
I was just looking today at Fortune magazine, and one of the articles talked about age discrimination and how seniors need to do their resume differently. They actually talked about don't put anything on your resume that goes back past 2000 to get any attention whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Now, in my consulting life, my marketing and business development consulting, I've consulted with a lot of startups. I can't tell you the number of times I've talked with them about things not to do that in my experience I knew would not work and would cost money, that was unnecessary to waste. The reality of it was, in a couple of cases, they forged ahead without any further discussion about it and wound up losing money, as I would suggest they would lose money. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the venture capital community doesn't seem to care as long as their young people are there charging ahead and spending money wherever they possibly can. That, to me, just doesn't make great business sense, but it is partially the reality that we face today. So what about that great labor market with the seniors that are out there? The reality of it is people should take a more serious look at it. Whether they will or not, that's open for conjecture.
I know, but I don't understand. First of all, if you're going to say you're going to retire at 55, that's nuts, because you probably have another 50 years of being bored out of your mind. Okay, so some people will look at 60, they look at 65. But there were some people who did take like what they called early retirement at 60. They're back in the market again, buddy, because they're bored to death. You can only talk about your grandkids for so long. You can only run around with your dog for so long. You can only plant so many tulips in the garden for so long. And then if you were any kind of person that had any kind of a job that you liked, now I'm not talking about the haters of their jobs. They're never going to want to go back in. But they could go walk dogs. They could become veterinary assistants. I mean, you kind of have to expand your horizons. You don't want to live 30 years bored.
I actually have a very personal story. It's about my brother, so I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast.
Well, don't get too personal.
So he retired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's been looking forward to it. He wasn't necessarily enamored with the job that he was doing. All of a sudden, he wound up with a situation that where he worked called him back and needed his services because they couldn't find anybody to replace him.
See,
so now he's as happy
true.
as a clam.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting paid more to do the same work as a consultant on his time when he wants to, and with very little feedback from what's right or wrong, because you're an employee. Now you're the hired expert from afar. So here's this guy. I'm going to go off into hinterland. He did. They went off to Paris for a while. They did some wonderful things for a while. Then when the company came back, it's keeping him pretty busy doing what he used to do as a consultant versus an employee, and he's loving it.
And see, I think that there are employees that are missing a huge opportunity here. Because when I read that in the Wall Street Journal about the fact that it is taking up to 6 months to train young people in the manufacturing because we've lost shop, they used to call it shop for the guys in high school, for the people who wanted to go on to be mechanics or wanted to be woodworking or wanted to be plumbers or any of that stuff. That just isn't taught anymore. And because of that, they have to do all of the training. Now, how awful is that to hire somebody knowing they can't be put on the line, so to speak, for 6 months? They're trying to get it going faster, but can you cut something that's taking 6 months to 3 months? And then, of course, you're talking about the life skills that you see everywhere on the Internet. Want to learn life skills? Call me or text me or go to my website. Great opportunities. Listen to us. We're talking to you, seniors. Great opportunities.
Yeah, so the reality of it is there is an opportunity out there. Many of these folks have great depth of insight and information, have made all the mistakes that can cost you a lot of money if you don't take a look at them going forward, just because you don't have the experience of having been there, done that. The been there, done that crowd has got some real insight into things that can make a distinctive difference. And we would really encourage employers around the United States and around the world to start to look at that senior community and see what kind of value they might bring to your company.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know that we're going to have to break right now, but stay with us because we have so much more to say. And all of you who are sitting around feeling like you didn't have a whole lot of value, stick around for another half and you're going to just be full of yourself by the time Buddy and I are done with you. Thank you very much.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Today, Sotheby's International Realty operates in the San Francisco Peninsula and Silicon Valley. They offer exclusive Sotheby's International Realty marketing, advertising, and global referral services designed to attract well-qualified buyers to the company's property listings. They also add new technologies to the 200-year-old tradition of exceptional service, such as their Lifestyles website. Visit them at svlifestyles.com for those that are interested in some of the finer things in life. From exotic cars to yachts, fashion, finance, food, wine and spirits, there is video that fits all those lifestyles and more. svlifestyles.com. In addition, the company and its clients benefit from an association with the Sotheby's Auction House, which promotes real estate referral opportunities with auction house clientele. Visit them at todaysir.com or call 650-597-1800. 650-597-1800.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Bobbi Decker.
And welcome back. It's Bobbi Decker and Buddy Sopay, and we are talking today about seniors and what they bring to the table and why aging and social change should matter to all of us. But before we jump back into that topic, I want to thank you for coming to our podcast, and also please do download them on iTunes, Stitcher, or go to RERadiolive.com and then get our app called RE Radio Live in the iTunes store, and you can follow the show. Please do make sure that you rate our program because we want to know what you love, what we need to do more of, and what things you might want us to change. So with Joe, you can reach out to him at joe@RERadiolive.com, or you can text him at 408-838-2838. 888-888-9060, or you can go to the blog at www.reradiolive.com. And for me, you can get me at Bobbi, B-O-B-B-I, at bobbidecker.com, or you can text me at 650-346-5352. We want to thank you for tuning in for a world of anything and everything real estate. We totally appreciate. Joe will help and guide you through the finance end. Buddy and I are more than happy to help you through the process of buying and or selling. But for right now, we need to jump back in to our senior program, and that is called, you know what I would like to call it? Why in the world would you get rid of the senior? Keep them on your staff and make sure things hum along. So what we were doing, we've done so many programs, several radio, lots of podcasts, many blogs, and it's done to promote the vitality and the desire to do new and different things by seniors. I think we should find a new word for them.
What could that be?
I don't know. Energized. Yoda.
Yoda?
Yoda.
Well, so because they're wise?
Yes.
They don't look like that. Yoda.
No. You don't want to look like that and go for a job interview. Hey, guys.
I get the wise, the all-knowing, all-seeing.
And calm.
Oh, and I'm going now. You're sending me off into a different part of the world.
The Yoda world?
The Yoda world.
Don't go there till we're done with the program, Dark.
I think people are going to be tuning out very soon.
No, I have to tell you, there's something to be said for having experience.
Totally.
Absolutely. Right around the holidays, you and I were talking about the 12 best offshore locations for seniors, especially if they had not necessarily saved a lot, because their money goes a long way in these particular countries. And then we've become so much more global. The options are totally endless if you have curiosity and courage. And I see that. I mean, I know a 90-year-old that wants a job. And she's smart as a whip. She should have one if she wants one. I mean, look at the docents at Filoli. Are they not wonderful?
Oh, wonderful. Their depth of knowledge about history. Now, that's the volunteer side, and there's lots to be said about that side of the world, too. Mm-hmm. It's not only the paying employee-level jobs, but the volunteer jobs where senior people can make an extremely big difference in what's going on and the level of knowledge they're willing to share because they live some of it.
Yes, they've been there, done that.
They were really there.
Been there, done that.
Maybe rather than Yoda, be the been there, done that crowd.
A been there, done that Yoda.
Okay. A nice compromise.
Visual. I know. I understand, and I know that my mind does go to these different, but I just see it as being very wise, never getting upset. I mean, wasn't his entire galaxy like totally being annihilated, and he just stood there very calmly and gave this advice, and I just see that in the manufacturing world. You talk all the time about your dad and how he was so great at doing things with his hands. And the one thing he imparted to you, and you say it over and over again, measure twice, cut once.
Yep.
And I'd never heard that until I met you.
Those things were passed on from generation to generation when you used to be able to fix all the things yourself.
Yeah.
That's a dying scenario also. Fixing things yourself is not necessarily something that falls into all age groups anymore. There is a distinction. But let's take a look. This social change is kind of ever-present, okay? So let's take a look at what we're talking about. We're talking about mobile, healthy, adventurous groups that have many resources. Some project that there's trillions of dollars of assets that are kind of locked up in this senior community that we're talking about. And that money is often put to work and helps to fuel economies. Think about Florida. Stands out in the United States as a haven for retirement, which drives all the infrastructure that supports that demographic. It would appear some of our offshore moves and investments may be the next big thing, particularly for those that may not have the level of savings and resources that we're talking about with those trillions of dollars. Not everybody's done a good job of saving and preparing for a long life after quote, their retirement from the work world.
Exactly. And I have to say that, you've got the talent, you've got the resources, and the enthusiasm, to put these resources back into the economy, and they're valuable, buddy. They don't cost the economy a dime because they're already inside. I mean, there are certain things you know how to do. You can go back out and impart them to people who don't know how to do them. Plus, the seniors have, I bet the seniors never knew we were going to give them such a rah-rah cheer podcast.
Well, we're gonna get up to some reality here.
True. But I have to say, the caring, the insight, all of that makes them valuable. You cannot do, like you said, anything chronologically about how old you're getting, but with your mind, you sure can.
Yeah. So we've really had that positive focus on what the senior community can bring to the table. The fact that aging does not preclude you from anything, actually, these days, with the vitality and energy and excitement of those who are 60 now but acting like they're 40 years old. But there are some other things that we need to focus on when 1/5 of the world's population is going to be over 60 in not too far distant future. So we touched briefly on the point that good health is not a uniform scenario as we age, and caregiving for the aging is far from uniform around the world. We need to look at that side of the coin too, Bobbi.
We do, and this comes from the Health Organization report of 2015, and a couple of the findings that their research pointed out were the fact that you need to pay some attention. The demographics are very measurable and known, but not every country, buddy, not every government or society is taking a really hard look at what it might need to do to take advantage of people who do still want to work that are considered seniors.
Yeah, so really next on the list is there are some simple remedies that are not commonly attended to, and that's really true. Many health issues arise out of diseases or personal behavior that can be avoided. So there's a remedy out there. Obesity here in the United States is really at an epidemic level.
Yes.
And it's it is very, very important that you take a look at this because diabetes is rampant. The remedy is self-discipline. How simple could that be? And I see some of our health organizations are starting to talk about the importance of that as a premier step to worrying about your future. Get on the bandwagon of taking better care of yourself, and don't put yourself in a position that's going to work against you as you age.
Well, I'm the old anatomy physiology because I had wanted to be the doctor back in the dark ages when it was very difficult for women to get into medical school on scholarship. But I remember all of that, and I have to tell you that our health system, if they're going to blow it all up and replace it or repair it or what are they going to do with it, there should be an incentive to stay healthy. Your premiums should be lower if you can stay healthy. Your premiums are lower with a car if you don't get in an accident, right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. I haven't been in an accident, but my premiums I don't think are that low. But we're in California, the land of high premiums. However, I think if you stay healthy and you don't have to go see a doctor and you don't have to be taking medicine for high blood pressure because you are overweight or because, of the diabetes, start rewarding these people for staying healthy. Say, hey, that's terrific. And then you're right. You're going to start seeing a change in behavior.
And we've talked about this really as a global issue. That 1/5 is the whole world. So the whole world needs to get on this bandwagon of saying, what can we do that's preventative? And then the solutions have to be effective, too. I mean, this is a big subject that we could go on and on and on about. The price of drugs, the price of what's the price here in the United States versus the price someplace else. All those are very extensive issues that we can't cover in today's program. But we'll touch on some as we go into the future here, too.
Sure, and we'll get some people who are really knowledgeable. I mean, I remember what I remember about staying healthy and what you should eat and not eat. But we'll get some people here now saying, okay, so you let yourself go, so, you're not going to go on that extreme weight loss program. And so here's what you can do step by step to make yourself healthier. But also, stress, buddy. The stress level here in California, Silicon Valley, is out of sight. You and I know it kind of exists throughout the United States, but to no degree like here. And probably New York City. because everybody's trying to catch up with the Joneses kind of thing. And stress will absolutely do a ton of damage to your body because, disease is called like dis-ease. Your body's out of sync. Your body's not working in tune. And so you're going to have a lot of issues. So we're out of time again, sir.
Where did it go?
I don't know, but we'll get some experts back and talk about this for our Living Longer, Living Better series. And if you have any ideas, those listeners who are listening in, please do send them to us because Buddy and I will bring them to the forefront along with Joe to make sure that you go forward with the knowledge and the information and the education you need to have a terrific life.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And thank you for joining us at RE Radio Live.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com.